What's going on, everybody? My name is Tyler. You're watching Mom's Basement MMA. My next guest is an undefeated lightweight contender fighting out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. He'll be headlining Anthony Pettis FC 13 later on next month in Hammond, Indiana. Mark Choinski joins me on the program today. Mark the Shark, welcome to the program. Glad we could connect. Know you're a busy dude. I'm excited to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate you reaching out. I love to get my name out there a little bit and, just kind of talk about what's been going on behind the scenes.
Absolutely, sir. Well, obviously, you are a very, very impressive mixed martial artist. You are a high level jujitsu practitioner, a high level grappler. I can tell that much just by looking at you. And now you have an opportunity to fight for the 155-pound title. It's a headline fight. Can you tell me a little bit, Mark? Like, what are your thoughts on this card and just getting an opportunity to headline a fight like this so early on in your pro MMA career?
Yeah, I don't get too crazy about, the details of what it is because a lot of times we build these fights up into being something, really big. But at the end of the day, it's just a scrap. I'm going in there. I'm going to do the exact same thing, whether I was the first fight or, the main event, or if even I was in the freaking parking lot. It don't matter to me. So I try not to get too worked up about all those type of details. Actually, my first pro fight was a main event as well. So I was in a different country. Um, Definitely like really foreign to me with how everything worked, and being in a boxing ring as well for MMA was different. So um, I don't get too worked up about those things. At the end of the day, we're gonna scrap. So that's all I stay focused on.
Fair enough. Well, your most recent contest, you went up against another high level guy, Noah Lindsey. That was at LFA 181. I watched this performance and it looked like as that fight settled in, you grew in confidence. It seemed like you started figuring out your opponent. It was a high level fight for the amount of time that it lasted. You ended up, of course, finishing this fight in the first round. Can you tell me a little bit about what is it that you remember from that Noah Lindsey fight? And am I right on that? Like, did you start growing in your confidence as that fight progressed?
Yeah, he came out pretty aggressive, and tried to walk me down a little bit. So I remember catching him a couple times, and I remember when I caught him clean in the face, he started, he opened up and he's bleeding a little bit, and I saw right away he didn't like when I touched him. So I just stayed patient and just kept working, and I found my distance relatively quick. So I felt comfortable the whole time as soon as I the walkout, everything. And I definitely like when people come to fight. But either way, the fighting is just so fun because it's like a puzzle you're figuring out. It's making adjustments on the fly. And I think that's something that I really love to do when I'm in there, just kind of figuring it out, making those adjustments, and definitely punching someone in the face.
When you have a nickname like the Shark, we automatically associate you with jujitsu. We automatically start associating you with submissions. And can you tell me a little bit about your striking in particular? Because of your background, because of how you're ending all these fights, do you feel like people overlook your striking and maybe not give it the respect that it deserves?
Yeah, if you really watch my fights, most of my grappling exchanges come from my opponents being overwhelmed from my striking. Actually, I'm not trying to be, like rely on one skill set. I'm a mixed martial artist, so I think my strongest ability is to be able to mix in everything, and I haven't been able to showcase everything. Which, ideally, you don't get paid by the minute, so you get in and you get out. And I'm not ever mad about finishing fights. Obviously that's what I come to do. But you only get a short amount of time to showcase our abilities and our skills. But I think overall, I think in general most people aren't aware of all of my abilities in the cage.
Your finishing rate is fantastic. You're very aggressive, and you seem to have a natural gift of figuring out what it is that your opponent is doing, and you find a finish. And is that part of your game plan, Mark? Are you going out there with this early stoppage in mind, or has it just been working out that way for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't get like too overexcited about getting the finish. What I do is I just look for, I'm opportunist. Anything that they're willing to give me, I'm gonna take. I'm not gonna just try to pressure myself or force a situation that's not not present. So what I do is if they give me anything, I'm gonna take it. So I try to stay really composed and I apply pressure. And a lot of these past opponents have kind of crumbled under that pressure. So I've been wrapping people up pretty quick. But I mean, I prefer to kind of smash these people in the face a little bit. But I also would like to, show a little bit of elegance out there as well and a little bit of grace with my ability and my striking.
You train out of a gym that I've heard of, Roufusport. That's one of the biggest MMA gyms in the country. Can you tell me a little bit, like how long have you been at the gym, and who have been some of your key training partners in this training camp?
Yeah, so Roufusport is actually, a world class gym, not only in striking but just overall MMA. So I've been able to, be a sponge with a lot of the knowledge that comes out of that gym, and I mean, tons and tons of names. I've been there for years now. I want to say, I don't got an exact date, but I want to say it's got to be over 5 years now that I've been training at Roufusport, and that was really the first gym, excuse me, that I started working with and stayed with the team. A lot of names in and out over the years. We had a pretty big roster of high level athletes that was in it for the last couple of years. And, after COVID and a bunch of people moving and stuff, now our gym has kind of got down to a little bit smaller, knitter, closer team, which ideally it's worked out honestly in the better. We be able to work specifically with the coaches and be more close to them constantly being on the road. So ideally it's been working out better this way. But I've got to work with a lot of people, especially right when I started. I got to roll around with, UFC stars right away. I remember I was just talking about last time. One of my first times ever sparring was against Jared Gordon. So I got to see what that's like. And he just beat the shit out of me for 5 minutes. So that was super fun.
One of the best gyms in the country, and there are like a ton of guys that have like come through there. And can you just tell me a little bit, like, was there like an early like moment in your career at Rufus Sport where you're like, yeah, I have something, like I have the confidence, I have the tools that I need to do this at a professional level. Like, did you get that like moment of clarity pretty early on?
Yeah, right away. Absolutely. I came in extremely fit. I was just coming off of my college wrestling, so some of the best shape I've ever been in, So when it came to conditioning, strength and overall mentality and just kind of I had all these attributes that were undeniable. And yeah, I got to mix it up right away with some of the big name people, and I was, I don't want to say I was surprised because I love competing and I'm a person that loves to go out there and see and push myself. I'm never looking for the easy rounds or the easy people. I want to, get mixed up with, the baddest, toughest dudes, and I get to see where I'm at. So that's kind of always been my mentality. But yeah, I got to mix it up with them right away, and I knew right away, like, yeah, I can do this, and um I can take this far.
Well, here we go. October 6th. That'll be the date. You'll be going up against a tough veteran fighter in Bobby Lee. How long have you known about the fight, Mark? At what point did APFC reach out to you and kind of put this whole thing together?
So Bobby's actually I learned about that about I want to say maybe 3 4 weeks ago. So this is probably one of the longest times I've got to work a specific opponent. A lot of them we've been having issues with, and just the fight game in general. I actually was gonna drop some news on here as well. Bobby ended up getting injured, so he had the pole actually for this fight. So now they got a replacement. Lined up here. I don't know all the details yet. They're kind of like figuring out everything else out, but I'll still be fighting in Indiana. It's just against another opponent. But in regards to how long I knew about Bobby, it's been a while. Most of the fights have been um, relatively short notice when it comes to being able to prepare for a single opponent. So I just got to kind of just be ready to do and go out there against anybody at this point, you know?
And you're hitting on something that I think is really important, like these opponent changes. That's kind of like the name of the game, especially in regional MMA. Like these guys, it just doesn't always work out. You train for Lee. That was a pretty big opportunity. I mean, he's a guy with a ton of experience, and I'm sure you were really eager to challenge yourself against him. And hopefully that fight can happen later on down the road. And
Yeah.
now that the Lee fight falls off, and now there's maybe some uncertainty with a new opponent, does that like throw like a little bit of an added wrinkle in just kind of where you are with your camp this close to the fight?
No, you know what? I'm so callous to this now. Uh,
Mm.
I mean, I almost had no emotion when I received, you know, the news, because even to get to this point has been, I mean, up and down, is to the point where it's like, you know, whatever happens, happens. Let's just stay prepared. Let's stay ready. Focus on the things I can control and just be ready to freaking scrap when they give me the call. So, I signed a contract 2 days after my last fight. So, I mean, that was 6 months ago, almost 6 months. And in a couple more days, you know, we'll be going on 6 months of me preparing and being ready to fight. And, you know, countless names, countless states, different countries, doesn't matter, you know. So um it's a part of it. Is it ideal? No, but like you said, in the regional scene here, I'm not in the UFC, I'm not in one of these big shows where these guys have to be held more accountable, or they just have the resources and the financial means to really get people to be a little more eager or show up. So we're trying to navigate through these waters right now. So
Well, fair enough. And for you, it's an opportunity to kind of show the rest of the country what it is that you're all about, what your skills are, what you can do. And for people who've never seen you fight before, I know we don't know who the opponent is, so I can't ask you too many questions about that. But I can ask you, for the rest of the country, for people who've never seen you fight before, Mark, what can they expect out of you come fight night?
they can expect me to be pushing the pace, coming forward, and fighting. I mean, that's what it's about. I'm not going in there and trying to do anything, you know, specific, because we don't really have any strategies when it comes to, you know, this opponent's good at this. So um ideally, I'm just gonna go in there. I'm gonna figure this guy out, and I'm gonna either put his lights out or I'm gonna choke him out. So I'm not gonna force anything, but I usually am able to put someone down the path to make a mistake and capitalize on it. But if you look at any of my last fights, you'll notice very similar things. They're all split open, they're all leaking, and usually I'm there, you know, standing victorious.
Well, you remind me of a typical kid from the Midwest, very polite, very humble, very hardworking. But you have a gift. You're a very dangerous person in that cage. And there aren't a lot of people out there that can say that they have had like the amount of success that you have had so early on in your career to get an opportunity like this to fight for a belt for a marquee promotion like APFC so early on. Like, I know you're a humble dude, but can you tell me a little bit like getting that belt around your waist so early on in your career for this promotion? Like, what would winning a title this early on in your career mean for you at this point?
Yeah, it's definitely super cool to get some recognition. Um, you know, I don't wake up and say, "Hey, I want to go collect, you know, this belt and that belt." I really just want to compete with, you know, high level athletes. I want to test myself, and really, my main goal is to continuously get better. So that's why I'm not stressing about who I'm fighting. In regards to, you know, all these people pulling out and everything. So I just want to be able to go out there and compete and show my progress, but getting a little bit of recognition on the way as well, that's going to be nice, you know, for all the people and my fans that have been you know, supporting me and continue to support me, because I've had, you know, all these fights that fell through, and they're buying tickets, and they're, you know, reaching out and showing love, and my sponsors. You know, it's definitely, it's not going to only be a victory for me, it's going to be a victory for me and my team and all my fans and my people and, you know, everybody around me. So it's going to be more of a moral victory for all of us to show that we're headed down the right path and we're doing the right things, and we're going to let the world know that, you know, no one to be played with.
Well, one of my friends is a jiu-jitsu coach, so I'd be remiss to not ask this question. In honor of him, I will ask. You got an array of submissions on your resume. I see rear naked chokes, I see arm bars, I see triangles. Like, which one is your favorite one out of all of them? Like, is there a money move that you have?
The one they give me. I I really do. It's fun in the gym. I have so much fun with it. I find everything. It's what really keeps me waking up and eager to get in the gym, eager to be there, eager to continuously get my rounds in because I see some people, they fall down these paths where they have certain moves and, they look for it. And when you're in the gym with the same people, I get to travel around a lot too. So I do get to go and see how I am with, all these other people. And that's super exciting for me. But when you're kind of getting the rounds in with similar people, they start to find your game. So I'm learning how to be, tricky in the sense that they're not getting the beat to my, drums. So I really do. I headhunt. Any type of joint manipulation I'm looking for. So, I have fun with it. I really do. And I joke around and say sometimes I have that the old man trickster stuff because I'll pop out stuff that really shouldn't work sometimes. But jujitsu, there's so much more that's it's growing and it's becoming bigger, and there's a lot of stuff that's happening, I think, behind doors that a lot of people haven't seen. But since the sport's getting bigger, we're starting to see these new moves and all these different things show up. But it's always there, you know what I mean? Anything to make someone tap, I find it and I have fun with it. So I don't just stick to one thing. But that arm bar that I hit in that last fight, that's a fun one because some people don't see that coming, but I have some cooler ones that I'm hoping that might pop up here. So like
Well,
I said, we only get a short amount of time to showcase. So it's like I want to go out there and kind of flex some of the stuff that I'm doing. I'm doing highlights every day in the gym. It'd be cool to get a couple of these out there for all my fans.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, October 6th will be the day of reckoning. Make sure you tune in UFC Fight Pass. Let's see what Mark's got up his sleeve then. Mark, I want to give you the mic, actually. I know that you have a lot of people. I know you have supporters that work with you to make sure you're in a position to do what it is that you do. So if there's anyone you'd like to shout out or sponsors you need to thank before I let you go,
Yeah.
let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, my team firsthand, my coaches, those are, most important right now. They're there with me every day in the trenches. We're getting it done. We're helping each other out. And, we're shooting for the stars right now. And then obviously my really loyal sponsors, you can't go wrong with them guys. Best haircut you can get in the Midwest here, Point West Barbershop. Gotta always show my boy Alex love. He's the best in the business right now. He's been one of my loyal guys that have been, there since day one. Those are the people that I really gotta I'm gonna keep in my corner all the way through. And Kick Ash Barbecue, my buddy he's killing it with the barbecue game. And then my other coach over there at the Herky Jerk Ranch, they're freaking killing it and crushing it too. They're always been showing love and supporting me. So there's a lot of people out there. We all know, we're all on a team. So it's definitely cool to just see that they're continuously supporting me, even with all these unknown things that keep happening. So I appreciate it, and can't go wrong with them.
Mark, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much. I wish you the best of skill here in a few weeks. And I look forward to having you back on the program very soon, sir.
Absolutely. I appreciate it, man. Thanks a lot.